Good morning to everybody. Welcome to the class.
Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning, sir.
yes, I could just start here. Yes, many people said Usha Kannavena. Good morning, sir. Kannavena also saying the good morning. Then other people also in the chat and the participants. I could see. Yes, it's good. 13 members have joined over there. Yeah, it's a welcoming factor. Okay, I think that they will increase it also as soon as the class in progress. Yeah, then I would like to see that what are the other people are there. Yes, let me stop the chat. Then I have said today is the what day is today? Today is 15. So what is the significance of the today? Sir, already
Independence
you,
Day.
sir, already you put in the screen, sir. Why you are asking again? Yes. What is written on the screen which I shared you? Yes, anyone? Yes. I think you could able
It
to
is
read.
difficult for an engineer to get a job.
Man should
What is the
be. Uh,
screen of engineering?
Man should be optimistic.
No, no. మీరు ఫోటో చూడండి సార్ ఒకసారి
Uh,
ఫోటో చూడండి దాంట్లో మీరు ఫోటోలో ఏం మీ ఫోటోలో ఏం పెట్టారని అడిగారు సార్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ టెలింగ్
Acha.
అబౌట్ మై ఒపీనియన్
No,
ఐఎమ్
see,
గివింగ్ యూ వాట్ ఇస్
your interpretation in that way. My interpretation, no. A engineer can see that even a thread can pass, that a big thread can also pass from a hole of a needle. That is the approach of a, my approach, that is.
దట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ ఇంజనీర్ అండ్ నాన్ ఇంజనీర్ సార్ ఇంజనీర్ కెన్ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ సే హౌ బిగ్ ద హోల్ ఈస్ హౌ లార్జ్ ద థ్రెడ్ ఈస్ అండ్ ఇస్ ఇట్ పాసిబుల్ ఫర్ ద థ్రెడ్ టు గో టు ద హోల్ ఆర్ నాట్. It's
Uh,
only about calculation. It's not about being optimistic or pessimistic.
anyway, that we will make the debate later part, but now we are want to think that whatever the what I say the precautionary principle. What is meant by the precautionary principle? Anyone? What did you understand by the precautionary principle? Yes? Anyone can say regarding this matter? Precautionary principle, what it means by precautionary
To
principle?
what, sir?
Yes?
Precautionary principle is respect to what?
Precautionary principle, because we are going to deal the environmental law in this class, is it not?
Yes.
And when in the environmental law, what are the precautionary principles are there? Yes, so that I could have to
No
make it out.
idea.
Okay, I will give you that. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. See, look before you leap. Look before you leap. In the sense, before you are going to do a particular thing, think twice what are the consequences of it. What is going to be what not achieved, what is going to be cause harm to a person, that is called precautionary principles. When you are making any other thing in the which is degrading the environmental balance and causing the hazardous to the mankind, include the flora and fauna, and not forgetting the marine things also. At that instance we have to take the precautionary principle, that is a to minimize the harm. That would be called a precautionary principle. And Rigveda also says the same thing. If you believe or may not believe, that is a different issue. And here that say the sky is like a father, the sky is like father, the earth is like mother, and the space is their son. The universe consisting of three is like a family, and any kind of damage done to any one of the three throws to the universe out of balance. So it is also a precautionary principle where it is said that if you want to make it anything and other people is going to be spoiled, try to see that this three universal uh, universe should be balanced whenever I want to do any development activity like explosion of the industries are concerned. So what are the causes of the industries? Anyone? Means effects of the industry. What I mean is, industry is good or industry is not good? Industry is good. Yes, industry is good, but the we have to balance it. We have to balance it. That is another factor is there. Otherwise, it leads to the it leads to the havoc and problem also. So now you will see how it can work over there in this slide. I don't know whether you could properly read or not because that is light in color. And but no, don't worry. I don't ask you to read. I myself also go through it. The precautionary principle is a tool. It is a tool for making better health and environmental decisions. It aims to prevent harm from the outset rather than to manage it after the fact. In the common language, this means better safe than sorry. Like COVID principle is there. What is the COVID principle? Precautionary principle, COVID-19 pandemic principle. Anyone? Anyone can unmute and give me the answer. What is the COVID Speak, speak. Please talk.
Signal cycle is sir, ఒక్క నిమిషం.
No, sir.
What is the COVID precautionary principle?
Precaution is
Oh,
better than cure, sir.
that is saying like a look before you leap. But I asked a simple question. What is the precautionary principle of the COVID-19? The precautionary
Wearing
principle
mask,
is yes,
wearing
Keep
mask and use sanitizer.
yes.
keep safe. So
Avoid
safe distance.
avoid people, sir. Stay home.
Oh,
Be safe.
yeah.
That is
The,
first thing. Second thing,
Social-
social distancing. Okay.
okay. So in one word, the another word precautionary principle is for the senior citizen like me or more than the 65, better safe, stay at home. So here, better say safe than sorry. That is the precautionary principle of the environmental hazards are concerned. The precautionary principle denotes a duty to prevent harm. It is a duty to prevent harm when it is within our power to do so, even when all the evidence is not in. In short, the precautionary principle it is a notion which supports taking the protective action before there is a complete scientific proof of a risk. That is, action should not be delayed simply because full scientific information is lacking. So, whatever the precautionary principle is there, if any, now let me tell me, which is the place uh, in India where carbon dioxide is zero, not India, surrounding India or India also. Please, please unmute. Mute. Oh, I will mute it. I will participants. Oh, 1157 opened it, taking good diction. Swati, you also opened it, making good discussion. Then Vivekananda, you also opened it, making good discussion. Okay, I mute it. And please don't unmute again because I am getting the sound. Yes. Coming to the point is, I am asking once again the question. Nepal comes in India or not? Anyone?
No. Nepal is a separate
Not in
country.
India.
It's a
What
sovereign
about
country.
what about Tibet?
Tibet is a part of China. It's not a sovereign country. It's not a sovereign state. It's a part of China, sir.
Not a part of India.
Some of the parties also India. No, that is.
No. Tibet, sir. You are
Okay. No,
raising
no,
a
my point is now our discussion is not the Tibet. Our discussion is Bhutan. Bhutan is a part of India.
Bhutan is a sovereign state. It's not part of India.
Okay. So now I want to say is the place which is very much zero carbon dioxide is only the Bhutan, where the carbon dioxide is zero. In the sense, in India, how much they are producing the carbon dioxide, and that much they are producing the oxygen in Bhutan. What is the reason?
Lack of industrial development,
Number one.
less population,
Number two.
hilly region,
Three.
having more plants.
That is actually the flora and fauna is more, and other factors also more. If the people are there, if the industries are there, the flora and fauna is more. naturally it will produce the oxygen, it will inhale the carbon dioxide and exhale the oxygen. So that is the what is the process is called? See, పత్రహరితం అంటారు.
Okay.
What is the process? Chlorophyll process.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis, yes, that I want to know
Sir,
from you.
two things
That is
here.
the thing. Yes, coming to the next slide. Yeah, please let me
Yes,
go
sir.
further. So coming to the next slide is, yeah, please let me go further.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second definition is based on the 1998 widespread statement on the precautionary principle, and it states, and first and foremost, the environmental, the international conference held it which place? Anyone?
Stockholm, sir. Stockholm
It is
Declaration is
1972.
before Stockholm. There were so many things, but a unified effect, what do you say, effort by the majority of the world countries is started in Stockholm.
The
After
big,
Stockholm, there are so many declarations, but then again, one more very important protocol is the Kyoto Protocol.
okay.
Before Stockholm, also there were so many things, but Stockholm is considered as the first major conference where a lot of countries participated and a lot of important countries participated, and then declared a declaration.
Yes. Now let me continue it, mute it. Yeah, that is a threshold. Threshold, that is the ab initio, the Stockholm, there the environmental issues are raised over there. But when you come to the matter later on, Rio de Janeiro, it is Rio de Janeiro. Rio, generally we can say Rio. The Rio is a polluter pays principle is involved over there in the Rio. Now we will see that what is Stockholm and the definition are the precautionary, that is precautionary principles are concerned. When an activity raises threats of harm to human health or the environment, precautionary measures should be taken if some causes and effect relationship are not fully established scientifically. So whenever an act would be started, like in an industry, the precautionary methods principle should have to follow it. Suppose if it is emanating a lot of smoke, then the chimney height should be high, then the surrounding area should be the greenery where the carbon dioxide is produced over there. It will be inhaled by the these plants and produce the oxygen. And the process of applying the precautionary principle must be open, informed, and a democratic, and must include the potentially affected parties. So a precautionary principle is a guidelines, rather we can say guidelines to cause a minimize harm to the mankind, including the flora and fauna. It must also involve the examination of the full range of the alternatives, including no action in this context. Proponent of an activity rather than the public should be bear the burden of proof. Then who has to make the proof? Burden lies on whom? Whether the victim or the owner of the industries. Anyone? Burden of proof.
Victims, sir, because you said the burden of proof lies with the people, so that is the victims.
See, the victim will say that we are going to be suffered. Then the burden will be lies on the industry side. No, it is the minimum amount of the effluents that we are throwing in the river. The minimum dust is going through the chimneys, and the minimum thing is causing the smoke because the chimney height is increased over there, and the probability that we have taken the lot of efforts to see that. Because whenever the effluents are going or into the joining in the stream, we are neutralizing that effluents which are in chemical nature. Now you tell me in which place the largest, not largest, I can say that the most tanning industries in India. Yes,
Tamil
anyone?
Nadu, sir. 90% of the Indian leather exports come from Tamil Nadu.
Yes, anyone? I am not sure that Tamil Nadu comes first. Kanpur comes first.
No, 90% of the tanning industry is in Tamil Nadu, sir. In the
Okay,
case of,
yeah, please proceed.
yes, sir. In the case of Vellore, some society versus the tanning industries of Vellore.
Yeah,
It is
Palar River. What is the river name?
Place.
Pala
Rather,
River.
90% of the 90% of the Indian leather exports come from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah,
Kanpur
that
is
is,
famous, but statistically, numbers wise, Tamil Nadu is the most place where most leather is tanned.
yes. Either the Tamil Nadu or the Kanpur, where the effluents are, toxic effluents are thrown in the river at the time, the causing the endanger to the marine creatures also. Even drinking water for the human body also, it will make at that instance the precautionary they have to supposed to take it. If they did not take it, then the polluter pays principle will be applied. Polluter pace principle will be applied over there. In the same way, Narmada Bachao Andolan also is the same thing which is happened over there. We have the case law of the polluter pays. That is the second principle would be there after the precautionary principles are there. So now driving at any time, driving when I'm speaking about driving is hazardous. Do you mean that we will stop driving? Answer is no. We will take all the precautionary methods while you are driving. First, number one, we have the valid license. We know how to drive it. Number two, road traffic should be followed over there. That is the speed as well as the road cautions. And three, your eyesight and your alert. You should not hear the phone and you should not speak on the phone and indulge in other different activity. Number four, you should not watch the TV in front, which is in front of you, and eyes should be in front. All these precautionary methods are taken over there, but still the opposite man make a head collision, what will happen? We cannot say because that is the fate we can say. That is only the answer we can give you now. So, however, you may be alert. Suppose if something goes wrong, I am speaking just an example for you. Precaution in the environmental pollution is concerned. Yes, the minimum cost should be to the human being as well as the animal creatures, animals as well as the creatures and marine products. Yes. Coming to the point of the polluter pay principle, this is the second principle. What it says, polluter pays principle is one of the most globally recognized principle in environmental law. This principle is evolved in the Rio Declaration. The main purpose of this principle is to mitigate the environmental degradation. Do you mean by what is the mitigate? Anyone? What did you understand by mitigate?
Sir, mitigate,
Yes,
transfer from one place to place, sir.
that is migration.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, anyone mitigate means reduce.
Listen, sir.
Less than reduce, that is
Again,
yeah, తగ్గించడం actually. That is actually the right word. The main purpose of this principle is to mitigate or solace in another way. Solace the environmental degradation. The polluter pays principle states that what it states that those who produce the pollution should bear the cost of the managing is to prevent damage to human health or environment. So, if any person is victimized by such a environmental pollution, either in the form of the air pollution or water pollution or noise pollution, in any other form of the pollution is concerned, at that instance, definitely a person should be compensated. In the tort law that you studied, at least one case law. Can you remember one case law? Sir, we have forgotten, sir. We studied in the first semester, sir. We dumped over there only, sir. Anyone? In Tatla, we have studied that the pollution would be there. That is a public nuisance, or sometimes it is a private nuisance also.
Allen versus Fletcher, sir.
Reliance versus Fletcher, of course, we can say the strict liability. That is the most appropriate in strict liability. MC Mehta versus Union of India is more strictly comes under the absolute liability. Oleum gas case, that is the Sri Ram Industries concern, that comes under again the strict liability with the exceptions. But after
Absolute
the
liability is Oleum gas case, sir.
yeah. And then Union Carbide versus Union of India, we can say the absolute liability because all these things are environmental pollution and moreover it is comes under the polluter pays principle only. So these are the thing. I don't know whether you studied the St. Helens case law, where the rose garden is there, adjacent man is having some brick kiln or some dust. The dust is what I say. It is lowering the not lowering exactly. It is diminishing the cost of the value of the flowers, the roses over there. Hence, because of the dust, and his rose plants were. The cost is reduced over there because those colors will not come over there because of the dust, and it will fall on the flowers. Hence, it is amount a nuisance. Then the polluter pays who disturbed such a thing, and he has to pay. That case law also that is there. St. Helens case law is there under it. Let me see the what are the other cases are here. Like this example, a factor that produces a factory, not factor. Of course, a factor also comes over there. A factor that produces a potentially poisonous substances. Here the factory. A factory that produces the potentially poisonous substances as by product of its activities usually help responsible for its safe disposal. So if any poisonous substances would be produced over there, then it should be very much caution should be taken. That is a precautionary principle should have to be taken to see that you will not have an impact on the hazardous to the human body. Can you tell me at least one industry which produces or which emanates or which the effluents are thrown outside the factory or industry? Which industry make the poisonous substance to emit or effluents to be go out of the factory? Which industry mostly does?
Then we have, if you want to take examples, Sriram Food Factory example is one example.
Yes.
If you want general examples, then the granite industry, it's all thrown outside.
Okay.
It cannot be neutralized because there is no mechanism to neutralize the granite powder.
Okay.
That is one example. Tanning industry, it is very difficult to neutralize the tanning industry's these things.
Okay.
Yes, sir. These are three examples. If you want the textbook example, Sriram Foods is the best example where
Okay.
the nitrous oxide is not treated, HCl is not treated.
Yes, that is also very good example. Okay. See, the another area, Vishakhapatnam, you can cite that thing also. What is that plastic? There is a polymer.
PVC poly.
Yeah. That is polymer also is a dangerous thing, so we should not supposed to use it because even the what is I don't say quarries is bronchitis diseases will come, and in asbestos cement factories, asbestos also very bronchitis it will come, and those who working under the mines also they will get the such a diseases bronchitis diseases, but they try to avoid it by using the precautionary methods, by filtering it and using the other devices to see that it will be dust free. Anyway, come to the matter of the polluter pays principle was first referred to the international level explicitly in 1972 in the Council recommendations on guiding the principle concerning the international economic aspect of environment policy. And this is from a Rio conference only. This polluter pay principle is coming to the existence. Then we will see the some other the polluter pays principles. One of the principle of the Rio Declaration in 1992 in which 153 states were signatories of Rio Declaration. And polluters pays principle legally well recognized both in international and domestically, but that recognition is very weak. It needs a reformation. It must be recognized strongly and enforced both at the national and internationally level. International level, not internationally level. So English is not that much good. A person who has produced or produced this slide. Yes, perhaps these are people who from the. I don't blame. Sorry, I don't blame the UP people because their medium of instruction is mostly in Hindi, and when you see the YouTube, especially YouTube, their English is very much fantastic when you hear them. Perhaps it's a good speaking. We can say South Indian people are there. Of course, we are proud of we are South Indians. Anyway, that I'm not making the defamation here, and I'm making a generalized statement, so nobody could file a case against me on the defamation because the disclaimer clause I put it over there. Take the class as a sporty manner, That is the important factor to make you to understand the things which I made. So now what is the landmark cases of the polluter pays principle would be there. Then we say Indian Council of Enviro Legal Action versus UI, that is the Union of India, where the polluter pays principle first time applied by the Supreme Court of India in the case of Indian Council for the Enviro Legal Action versus Union of India. According to this principle, it was stated by the Supreme Court absolute liability for harm the environment extended not only to the compensate the victim of pollution but also to the cost of restraining the environment degradation. So they said not only pay the to the victim compensation, but they have to also the cost of restraining the environment degradation. So whatever the environment degradation will be there for restraining it, they have to take the precautionary methods. So that was the landmark, one of the principle which is made over there. Then we'll see the next slide. Then what it says, the next slides. Yes, I open the next slide. Then say Velur. Yes, just before Kiran made the point, Velur Citizen Welfare Forum versus Union of India. It was there also a landmark in a polluter pays principle, with other principle was recognized in this case law. And in this Supreme Court directed to stop discharging the pollutants in Palar, not Polar, Palar, P-A-L-A-R, Palar River in Tamil Nadu, because Palar River was the major source of water to its surrounding people. In this case, Supreme Court emphasized on maintaining the relation between the environment and development. Environment or environment, which is the correct way of pronunciation? Anyone?
Both, sir. Environment and environment.
Because I saw,
Potatoes, potatoes.
yeah, environment. So anyway, that is the thing of the polluter pays principle is concerned. Then we'll throw light on what are the remedies will available in case of yes. Yes, remedies you will see it. What are the remedies? How much the remedies would be available over there? So here I made the remedies available under the Indian legal framework. This environment protection, a bird's eye view. So that is the wording that I used over there. So what are the legal provisions are there for this curbing this environment pollution? So in India there are plethora of legal provision. Here plethora, not plethora. Plethora means abundant. Yeah, plethora means lot of, many. The plethora of the legal provision which seek to protect the environment from the attacks from the human race. Along with the various constitutional provisions, there are several legislative enactments passed by the Parliament of India in order to achieve the constitutional objective, ensuring a wholesome environment to the citizen of India. What is that name given to the act, which is the Umbrella Act of Environment? Anyone?
EIA Environment Assessment Act.
Is it Environment Assessment Act?
Environmental Impact Assessment, sir.
Is it Environment Protection Act?
Oh, sorry.
Protection Act, 1986.
It is a 1986 is the umbrella of the Environment Act, because earlier there are many acts are like Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act 1974, then the Prevention and Control Pollution Act of 1981. All these acts were eclipsed. Then the umbrella Environment Act was made in 1986, and of course there are several provisions in the Indian Penal Code also which is given over there regarding the nuisance is concerned, or the environmental degradation is concerned, or environmental damage caused by any other individual is, then the ample remedies are available under the common law. That is the environmental protection, such as the nuisance and trespass, negligence, and strict liability. Then let us see what are the few constitutional provisions are there. When it is clearly mentioned the state policy, that the directive principle of the state policy, the chapter of fundamental duties, explicitly enunciate the national environment to protect and improve the environment. So that is very much clearly says over there. And then the Supreme Court in its judicial pronouncements also held that the precautionary principles should be followed. Then the polluter pays principle is also the law of the land. This is again we can make it out on 42nd Amendment. The word environment was not mentioned in the Indian Constitution. By this Amendment Act, Article 48 capital A was added in the directive principle of state policy. By Article 51 capital A, new provision was inserted in the form of fundamental duty. According to 40A capital A, the state shall endeavor to protect the improve the environment to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. As per the subclause G of the Article 51 capital A, which spells It shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment, including the forest, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Sir, how could we remember, sir, everything what is stated or what is quoted in the quotation? You need not to by heart the quotation, but you have to make a photographic memory for at least Article 48, capital A, and Article 51, capital A, which is made inserted in the Amendment 42. Otherwise, there is no environment within our Constitution. That much you can say. That is the constitutional provisions regarding the environment. Of course, there are some cases also where referred over there. If you could remember any case law, you can cite any one of the case law. If it is asked in the short questions, if it is asked in the long questions, then you have to elaborate it. That is only the factor. So here I made the some rural litigation and entertainment Kendra versus State of UP. Honorable Supreme Court observed the protection of environment is not only a duty of the state under Article 48A, but the citizen of India are also duty bound to protect the environment. Article 51A, small g, that is of the Constitution. Yes, fundamentally the duty incorporated in the Constitution is not directly enforceable. Can we enforce the directive principle of the state policy? Anyone?
No, unless a state law is made, you cannot enforce the directive principles of state policy.
Unless there is a rules are there to make it out, then only we can make it. Otherwise, we cannot. Yes.
Same with the fundamental duties also, sir. Unless you pass a law,
Yeah.
unless the state passes the law.
Yes.
Directive principles, it is the states that have to pass the law. I don't think that the central will pass laws of the directive principles.
No such a thing would be there, as far my knowledge goes.
Usually, the states makes the laws on directive principles. I never seen center making any laws for the directive principles.
Yeah. Because it will not. Nobody wants to cut their own limb. We should not say cut, amputate. That is the appropriate word. Nobody wants to amputate their own limb. So that is the appropriate word. See, again in the MC Mehta was the state of Orissa. So MC Mehta stands for what? What is the another name for the MC Mehta?
Pillman.
Pillman.
I don't know.
We can say he is a environmentalist and is a pillman. And the court observed that there can't be any right without a duty. So far there is a sanitation in the environment, it will severely affect the life of citizen, and hence it is the violation of fundamental right of the citizen. Hence it is the duty of the citizen to see that the rights which are provided to them under the constitution are fulfilled by the state. So there are many cases which I cited here regarding the part 3 of the fundamental rights. When fundamental rights also Article 21 attracts. Which Article 1 attracts in part 3? Article 21 attracts over there, but in part 4, directive principle of state policy, just before I say 48A and 51, yes, 51 capital A and 48 capital A, those are the things, and part 3, it is a 21 article, that is MC Mehta's Union of India, that is a well-known example. The Supreme Court held that the right to live pollution-free environment is a part of the fundamental right to life under the Article 21 of the Constitution. What is another name for the Article 21 of the Constitution? Anyone? What is the another name for the Article 21 of the Constitution? Sir, we don't know.
The heart of Constitution.
Article 21 other name is called Pandora Box. PANDORAS, Pandora Box. That is the nickname given to the Article 21, because just you can put your hand and bring whatever that you want from there, and it's like a magical basket. Everything will be hodgepodge there. A brawl, BRAWL, brawl. That is. I think that you know what is the Brani and Bran. BRAWNY, Brani, BRAN, Bran. Anyone? Brani means muscular man, means very tight man, very hefty man, and strongest man, Brani. Bran means BRAN, Bran means. సార్ నాకు తెలుసు సార్, మాకు గేదెలు లేవు సార్, మాకు ఎద్దులు లేవు సార్, బర్రెలు లేవు సార్, బ్రాన్ తెలియదానికి. తౌడును బ్రాన్ అంటారండి, BRAN, బ్రాన్, తౌడు. ఎస్, కమింగ్ టు ద పాయింట్, న్యూసెన్స్. పక్కకు ఒక గిర్ని ఉన్నదనుకోండి, మీ గిర్ని అంటే తెలుసు కదండి మీకు. Anyone? Anyone can say Girni and Dalsa Dandi? I don't know whether people are hearing me or did I make a mute?
Sir, తెలియదు sir.
Floor mill ni Girni antar. ఫ్లోర్ మిల్ అంటారు కదా. ఓకే, న్యూసెన్స్ క్రియేటెడ్ పక్కకు గిర్ని ఉన్నదనుకోండి, రాత్రి పౌలు నాటదంటే సపోజ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ రన్నింగ్ ఓవర్ దే, దెన్ ఇట్ ఇస్ కాజ్ ఏ న్యూసెన్స్ టు యూ. సో గిర్ని ఈజ్ ఏ న్యూసెన్స్. సో the public nuisance aitadi. The criminal procedure also 1973 says about the section 91 of the criminal procedure, it prescribes the suit may be filed to obtain the suitable relief or injunction for any cause of action affecting the likely to affect the public nuisance. మీ ఇంటి పక్కకు మ్యారేజ్ హాల్స్ ఉన్నాయండి ఎక్కడన్నా? మ్యారేజ్ హాల్స్, దెర్ ఇస్ ఏ కోర్ట్ ఆర్డర్ రాసి ఉంటుంది చూడండి మీరు. యూ షుడ్ నాట్ సపోజ్ టు ప్లే ద మ్యూజిక్, యూ షుడ్ నాట్ టు డూ ఎనీథింగ్ ఆఫ్టర్ సో అండ్ సో టైమ్ అని రాసి ఉంటుంది, కోర్ట్ ఆర్డర్ రాసి ఉంటుంది. అది అదర్వైజ్ ఇట్ నీడ్స్ ఏ పబ్లిక్ న్యూసెన్స్ అండర్ ద క్రిమినల్ ప్రొసీజర్ కోడ్ కానీ క్రిమినల్ ప్రొసీజర్ దాంట్లో కానీ ఉంటుంది. సెయింట్ రామ్లాల్ వర్సెస్ ముస్తఫా ఆయిల్ గిన్నింగ్ ఫ్యాక్టరీలో కూడా ద పంజాబ్ అండ్ హర్యానా కోర్ట్ అబ్జర్వ్ దట్ వన్స్ ఏ నాయిస్ ఇస్ ఫౌండ్ టు be above the necessary threshold to attract the liability of public nuisance, it is known valid defense to contend such a noise arose out of the illegal activity. Apart from this, public nuisance has been made punishable under the Indian Penal Code 1860 also. So that is another point. ఈ ధ్వని noise, how do you measure? Anyone? How do you measure the noise? Yes, decibels. What is the maximum decibel a human ear can tolerate?
I think 40.
20,000 head.
Decibel అని చెప్పాలి. 72 to 74. Yes, mute. ఎందుకంటే రిసౌండ్ వస్తుంది నాకు. Yes, because I wrote an article. I thought I would like to share the article with you. I wrote an article on the noise pollution, and I traced it, but I did not find it. Otherwise, I would have to put it there for your sake. Noise pollution మీద ఒక article రాశాను నేను. So very long back, it is around about 20 years back I wrote that article. If I could find it now, I can put you in the WhatsApp group. So negligence also, it is a common law a remedy, that is a negligence part also. If you do anything and it is becomes a nuisance, there you have to pay it. Like Naresh Datta Tyagi versus state of Uttar Pradesh, here the case law which is clearly mentioned, the fumes ఉన్నాయి కేస్ లాలో. ఈ కేస్ లాలో ఏమున్నాయి? ఫ్యూమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి. సో దట్ ఆల్సో కాజెస్ ద థింగ్ which will be released from the pesticides leaked to nearby property through the ventilators, and resulted in the death of the 3 children and fetus in a pregnant woman. It was held by the court that it was a clear-cut case of negligence. Even fumes also. Whatever the Bhopal gas tragedy, what is emanated there in Bhopal gas tragedy? Anyone?
Methyl isocyanate.
Methyl isocyanate fumes emitted, busted the gas, and it crippled the many people were died. So I think that is only the biggest disaster after carbonyl. Is it, what is that name? Carbonyl disaster later, that is the biggest disaster in the world. Yes, even that also a negligence on the part of it, where the absolute liability will be held over there. The famous case law, that what is the famous case law that you can made it for absolute liability? Sar NC Mehta versus Union of India. Okay. Next, oleum gas. Okay. Next, Union Carbide versus Union of India. That you can put it over there in the absolute liability. So what is the distinction between absolute liability and the strict liability? Anyone?
Exceptions.
Five exceptions are there in the strict liability. No exceptions are there in absolute liability. We will see what are the exceptions are there. Here, trespass, you know it. It is also a nuisance and trespass. even a water trespass, fume trespass, noise trespass, dust trespass, smoke trespass. Sir, what about the smoke, sir? Puffs trespass. Yes, that also a trespass. So there should be a intentional interference. Such interference should be directly in nature. So that trespass also comes, and the strict liability. I told you already that if anything escape from your place, and which is a natural consequence of it is escape, whether it is by your own mistake or mistake of anybody, it harms the neighbor, then automatically strict liability will be applied over there. Then the landmark case law is Reynolds versus Fletcher is the landmark case law. Then the act of God is there, and act committed by a third party, any fault committed with the plaintiff himself, or an act committed after the obtaining the express or implied consent. That is another exception. The natural use of land by the defendant. These are the exceptional cases. For the absolute liability, those are not the cases. And when you come to the IPC, yes, there are 268 section to 294A deals with offences relating to the public health safety. The main object of it is punishable which make the environment polluted and dangerous to life in India. And there I cited also Prevention of Control of Pollution Act. Then I also cited some of the cases. Then I will also made in the CRPC provisions, CPC provisions, but I did not find the specific relief act remedies, but I found on the tort remedies, I found the other remedies are concerned. And the time is now 10:13. So,
Yes, before closing, I just want to say something about the specific relief act remedies.
yeah, please say, please say.
Second unit, remedies are very important.
Yes.
One is common law remedies and one is specific remedies. Common
Okay.
law remedies are trespass and negligence.
Very good.
Specific relief act remedies are injunctions.
Okay.
Temporary the sections 36 to 40 of Indian Specific Relief Act 1963 deals with the remedies of Specific Relief Act.
Okay.
First, temporary injunction, section 36.
Okay.
Virtual injunction, section 37 and 38.
Very good.
And next one is, it starts with a P. What is that injunction?
Starts with
Prohibitory injunction, that is
Okay.
Article 39.
Okay.
Section 39.
Okay.
And then mandatory injunction, section 40.
Very
You write
good.
all these injunctions that are the reliefs that are provided by the Indian Specific Relief Act.
Very good. Very good.
You should mention this, and this is the one that you need to know in the second unit.
Yes, it's enough. It's enough.
And fifth unit is very easy and very scoring. Fifth unit, you just read Stockholm Declaration and Kyoto Protocol.
Okay.
Kyoto Protocol, it is about climate change and ozone depletion.
Okay.
In Kyoto Protocol, nations are divided between developing nations and developed nations.
Very good.
Developing nations were given specific targets.
Okay.
Developed nations were given specific targets.
Mhm.
Developing nations are given some leniency because they still need to develop. One key
Okay.
thing to remember in Kyoto Protocol is United Nations did not ratify Kyoto Protocol. India ratified Kyoto Protocol, and major countries ratified Kyoto Protocol.
Okay.
President Bush gave a statement that US cannot compromise on its interests
Okay.
for some stupid international laws.
Very good.
So you
Very
can
good.
go to President Bush on Kyoto Protocol. This will be 15 marks question.
Very nice.
And you read about Stockholm Declaration too. It is also not that big. So if you read this, Unit 2 and Unit 5 are over.
Okay.
In
Very
Unit 1,
nice.
it is very easy unit.
Okay.
Things that you need to
Yeah. Please.
know in important things that you know in Unit 1 are, one is types of pollution. Either
Okay.
you read types of pollution or ancient remedies. In
Okay.
ancient remedies, it is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Indian culture, we always treated earth as mother goddess, and
Very
then we
nice.
treated rivers and
Mhm.
animals and plants as gods and goddesses, and then we worship them. It's the
Okay.
reason why Indians never went against
Nature.
against nature, and we did not exploit the nature more. And also, you can mention about yagnas. Yagnas are performed for the purification, and during festivals also you do a lot of purification.
Okay.
In first chapter, when you're talking about the ancient remedies,
Yeah.
you it is better you mention Kautilya's Ardhashastra. Kautilya's Ardhashastra, he mentioned that man has a duty towards nature. That is the first unit. We
Very
have covered
good.
first unit, second unit,
Yeah.
and fifth unit.
Yes.
We are left with third and fourth unit.
Yes.
Third unit is a pretty long unit, so it will take more time.
Yes.
When we talk about the fourth unit, remedies,
Yeah.
remedies for law.
Yeah.
Writs,
No. Yeah.
first we need to talk about writs. That can be
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
And again, about section 14, 19, 21
Yeah.
are fundamental rights.
Okay.
And again, fundamental duty of Article 48, the directive principles of state policy, and
Right.
51
Yeah. Yeah.
is the fundamental duties.
Yes. Yes.
And
And
after
here-
this, you need to mention the 1986 law,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the tribunal law 1995,
Okay.
and then this should do it. So unit 4 is also over. So unit 3 is a pretty big unit, so it cannot be done in this. So this is what I will answer.
Yeah, in the fifth unit here I have shown you. In the fifth unit I have shown you international environment regime. So now what you do, if you concentrate on 3 units, I'm sure that you can do your exam totally. So
Okay,
that is the way that one should have to pick and choose and pick method that you have to make it out. So that if you are thorough in the 3 units, I'm sure that you can easily make it out, because the fifth unit is say environmental international environmental regime. It is say that is the transaction pollutions and migratory birds, and Nairobi conventions, biodiversity conventions, and Kyoto protocol and Johannesburg conventions. It may be generally may ask in the short questions. If you could remember well, okay, we can do it. Because anyway, that in short questions also there are choices are there. So naturally, if you are thorough in the 3 units, I'm sure that you can easily make it out to your exam. At least you can cross the exam. Though not with the highest marks, at least more than the 55%, I'm sure that you will get it if you are thorough in the 3 units. So this is the thing which I want to share you. Now the time is going to be up, and I will load you the what I compiled since yesterday till today, and I will keep in the WhatsApp group, which I did not cover just today's things regarding the second unit is concerned mostly, because Kirana has contributed for the regarding the specific relief act remedies are available. So there is the section that you have to keep it a remedy. Then the noise pollution is there for the second unit. Sir, noise pollution. If I find my article, I will see it. Then I will post you the noise pollution article. So here the relief against the smoke and noise is given over there, and the noise pollution. These are the things. When you are thorough in the second unit, I am sure that you could do the well. With this, I would like to stop. But tomorrow class, as usual, in the same timings, I will be returning. And let me wish you best of your efforts for writing the today's examination, and be alert to follow the COVID-19 precautions. That is the precautionary principles. You have to follow it. Otherwise, then again, the polluter pays principle will be availed over there. With this, I would like to stop my lecture. If anybody wants to say anything, you can say till it will be closed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. So I will stop it. At the joining time, I find the 21, but at the closing time, I found only 9. Anyway, doesn't matter. I told you already that if one person also benefited by my lecture, I see that my aim is.
Your dream figure.
Yeah, yeah. Including me,
22.
because I am also learning. I am also learning because they new to me also this. So I learned something because of my teaching also from you. So a selfish nature also in me. Of course, bias I can say I cannot use that much a big word.